Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore, and welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is procrastination again. So I talked about procrastination a little while ago, and I wanted to cover it again. One, because it's a big topic. There's a lot to it. One of the interesting things and that we covered last time, and I want to say it again because it's important to say, is like what is at the heart of procrastination. And last time we talked about perfectionism being something that tends to be down there inside of procrastination. So do we have those, because we have such high expectations of ourselves, do we not want to do anything at all for fear of failure or whatever reason? And it's interesting to see procrastination as it's linked to various mental health kinds of issues. And one is depression. So depression and anxiety. I mean, let's go even deeper into what is the real, what is one of the root causes of procrastination is something that maybe isn't too foreign to all of us, is that we sacrifice the future for right now. Like, I want to feel less stressed right now. I want, the task I'm thinking about is boring. I don't want to do that. What an annoyance. I'd rather do something that I like doing, that makes me feel good, and that is better than doing the thing that I'm putting off. And I think one of the important reasons to bring it up is because it may sound contradictory to mindfulness. Because mindfulness it's living in the present moment, right? If we're living in the present moment, doesn't that mean savoring every single bit of the present moment and enjoying every moment here? And that might mean just saying, well, forget this. I don't need to do this now. I can do it later. And find that, if we use mindfulness as an excuse to procrastinate, we end up having a bunch of things that we have to do that maybe we didn't want to do, and we don't want to do, and because we've been procrastinating, that to-do list gets bigger, which compounds the stress. So I don't know if you've ever been in this kind of situation where your to-do list has become so long, or that there's that one task that is just bothering you so much that you can't help but think about it every day. That annoying task shows up in your mind, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I still haven't done this. Why can't I get this done? Why do I keep putting it off? And, there are a bunch of reasons why you might be putting that task off. However, this really is the key, is that you can, through mindfulness, recognize that behavior of saying, hey, I want... And this is why it's not mindfulness to put things off. So you can recognize the behavior of, I want pleasure now. I want to not be bored right now. I want, whatever it is that not doing that thing is giving you, wanting that in this moment, and then causing whatever pain it is to be suffered by not only future you, but also, not only future you while future you's doing the task, but also future you who ponders that task again. Every time you think about that task, you're going to suffer. And so this is kind of the idea. Okay, so mindfulness is kind of rooted in living in the present moment, to observe what's going on, to observe the suffering that we experience, And so what is the major cause of suffering is clinging to the things that are pleasant and pushing away the things that are unpleasant. And this is, really kind of where procrastination is kind of like, okay, this is the unpleasant thing, and so I'm going to push it away for this moment, and so that way I can feel more pleasant now. And so this really drills down into, what is equanimity? And, this is I've talked before about the SN Goenka retreat that I went to in Hong Kong that I'll probably go again to one day. The real theme of that retreat is equanimity, is learning how to sit with and to thrive in the unpleasant situations, because that retreat holds a lot of unpleasant situations. And so, can I learn to be there when it happens? Because unpleasant things are going to happen in life. This is just what being human is about. This being human is a guest house, right? All kinds of things show up for us. So, and then of course on the converse side, when something's pleasant, is it possible not to cling to it and hang on to it and hope, I wish this pleasant thing could last forever. So to accept that pleasant things happen, unpleasant things happen. Can we live in both the pleasant and the unpleasant without pushing them away? And therefore, when something is unpleasant, a particular task that has to get done that we maybe don't want to do, to use our mindfulness to recognize this is unpleasant, I'm feeling unpleasant about it, but can I go ahead and do it anyway? And also knowing cognitively, this is going to benefit me in the short-term future and also in the long-term future, because then I don't have to think about this anymore. I don't have to think about this annoying task, whatever it is. Maybe it's cleaning the other room, or maybe it's finishing that spreadsheet at work that that you've been putting off for months, but you know that it's got to get done, and it's just eating away at you in the back of your mind. Or doing your taxes, or doing that banking thing, or cleaning up your hard drive, or whatever it is. Those things will gnaw at you. Is it possible for you to be mindfully aware that this isn't an unpleasant thing, yet find the strength inside of yourself to tackle it anyway? So I hope that's kind of a helpful. Mindfulness is about awareness, and that's really what I want to do here, is just kind of bring up that awareness, and maybe through that awareness give you some motivation to go ahead and get things off your to-do list, because once they are off, you don't have to think about them, and you won't need to think about them, and your mind will go back to them less. And next time we'll talk about the story we tell ourselves. So that also is kind of related to this. What on your, how necessary are the things on your to-do list anyway? How is non-striving related to all of this? So thanks, Rachel, for sharing, and thanks everybody for being here today. I'm going to look at the chat afterwards, and I do encourage you, even if during the meditation, if you like, to write in the chat if anything's coming up for you. And we'll chat hopefully we'll chat a little bit more about procrastination at the end of our meditation. But let's go ahead and get into our practice, to practice being aware in the present moment. So go ahead and get comfortable. would encourage you to sit up straight and tall. Crown of the head towards the ceiling, chin roughly parallel to the floor. You can have your eyes open or closed. If you have your eyes open, choosing a point or an area at about a 45-degree angle downwards, allow your gaze to relax. Or you can close your eyes. And now I'd just like to invite you to bring attention to your head, to your face, to notice what's here. Do you find any tension in the face? Just being aware of that, noticing that. And the eyebrows, and the eyes. Feeling the air moving in and out of the nostrils. The jaw. Noticing if you're clenching your teeth. Seeing if you can bring your bottom teeth away from the top teeth intentionally to allow your jaw to relax. Keeping the lips closed if you can. Noticing the neck, the shoulders, the left shoulder, the right shoulder, becoming aware of the upper back, the mid back, the lower back, the chest. Maybe you feel the chest moving as you breathe. The abdomen. The belly expanding and contracting with each breath. And now feel free to expand your awareness to the body as a whole. Feeling your physical body. Sitting here. Perhaps resting here. Perhaps agitated here. Just welcoming whatever it is that's here today. And becoming aware of the breath, the feeling of breathing. Fully aware of how the body changes shape with each breath. Expanding, getting bigger as you breathe in. Contracting, releasing, getting smaller as you breathe out. Maybe even the way your clothes fit you changes slightly as the body is getting bigger and smaller with each breath. So the way we know that we're breathing is that we can feel how the body changes. So maybe one of the reasons we don't use the heartbeat as a object of meditation often is that not everyone can feel the physical symptoms of the heartbeat. Maybe we cannot feel the heart in the chest, the pulse in the wrists, the pulse in the neck, wherever it is you feel the heartbeat. Noticing that this is a bit more challenging. So, and maybe a better way to tune into the present moment is to observe every change in the body with the breath. And we don't even need to focus on, am I calming down? What's the change in my emotional state? Just focus on the physical. And oftentimes the mind wanders away. We start thinking about that to-do list, those things that we haven't done. Without our consent, our mind goes off and starts thinking about something. During our practice, can we take a moment to notice what is it that's so important that brought us away from the thing that we are determined to do, to stay focused on the present, to stay focused on our breath? Just notice it for a moment before releasing it, coming back to observing the feeling of breathing. And so let's share the next few minutes in silence, seeing if you can stay focused, and remembering not to judge yourself if you can't. You are how you are right now, today. So as best you can, try to focus on the breathing and come back each time you notice you have wandered away. Okay, congratulations on making it through today's practice. I'm going to close practice with 3 rings of the bell. After the sound of the bell subsides, you can feel free to move your body and stretch out in any way you like. All right, thank you. Thanks for joining me today in practice and being here for each other as well. How did practice go today? Did you notice anything coming up? Feel free to share what's going on in the chat. I'm going to have a look. Speaking of the chat, I'm going to have a look now. Thanks, Siffy. Thanks for being here today. Rachel says, I've got a to-do list with several things on it that keep getting rolled over from one day to the next, which I've always run out of time to do because there's always new things on the list. And I see those 3 things and shut my mind to them. This happens every day. Problem with those 3 things is that A, they're low priority, and B, I don't think even getting them done will achieve anything. And so this is, this kind of rolls over into the Thursday practice. So, what's the story we tell ourselves? Also judging those things, right? Is this thing on my to-do list something that needs to be done anyway? Sometimes we end up obsessing over something that we don't need to obsess over. So we'll explore that a little bit more. And this is the question too sometimes, like how important. It's great to get that off of my mind, but maybe this is something that I can, if I can consider, I can ignore, right? Maybe this is something that resolves itself if I don't get involved. So it's very obviously this is very situationally dependent. This works for some things and not for others. So that's what we'll talk about next time, a little bit about just judging in general, but also the story we tell ourselves and how that affects us. Thanks, Rachel, for sharing. And that I can certainly relate to that, and I would assume that a lot of people here can as well. That there are these 3 annoying things that I feel like why am I wasting my time thinking about them if they're so low priority anyway, and that aren't going to get anything done. I can totally relate to that. Thanks. Samia says, is procrastination also the same as wasting time trying to fix unfixable things, knowing when to give up, etc.? No, I would say these are quite different things. That procrastination is, this procrastination is purposely avoiding something so that I don't have to deal with it. If we're wasting time on some other project because we're avoiding this, the bigger project in the background, or the harder to do project in the background, then that becomes procrastination. But wasting time trying to fix an unfixable thing, cleaning the house instead of doing that Excel spreadsheet that I needed to get done, or whatever it is, trying to feel productive because I don't want to get to this other thing that I have to do that also would be very productive if I was able to complete. So this is kind of the difference. And trying to fix unfixable things, that's this is definitely different in general, and the topic for another day. This wanting to get involved in things that we don't have control over, and the kind of suffering that it can bring us when we work so hard to fix something that is unfixable. And maybe instead of trying to fix it, is there some other thing that I can do? So being open-minded about that, and not to say that you need to give up on those unfixable things. Is there another approach that I can take? Is that obviously the approach that I'm using right now isn't working? John says, the feeling of accomplishment is a wonderful feeling for me, and I can second that for sure. I mean, this is one of the things that really helps. I think that can really help as we try to tackle our goals. Is imagine the future when that thing is no longer haunting you, right? I finally did it. I cleaned out that back room. What is it going to look like when that is complete? I did my taxes. The government's off my back now. Whatever it is. Or maybe even going, hey, this thing isn't going to haunt me anymore. Like that these are all part of it, but honestly, it is the feeling of that submission. Like, it's done. Here you go. Here's the paper. It's out of my hands now. It's out of my department, and I don't have to think about it anymore. So, I think that's there's really something to be said about the feeling of accomplishment. And it is great, but usually it's, as the procrastinator, it's hard to even look that far ahead because I'm so used to sacrificing the future for now. It's just like pleasure now. And something that I wanted to say as well is that there's addiction and procrastination are not unrelated, right? So you can see addictive behaviors, things to try to make myself feel better right now to possibly sacrifice the future. These two things are possibly related, and it has to do with self-mastery. So can I be aware? Can I use self-control? And mindfulness helps to cultivate that, right? Mindfulness is this simple way to practice, right? As I'm sitting here, I'm focusing on the breath. Maybe I'm getting bored. Maybe I want to get up and I go over there and do something. Mindfulness is a way to kind of teach us to be able to sit with things even when they're unpleasant. If you expect every meditation to be one that makes you feel at one with the universe, I'm very sorry to tell you that you're going to be quite disappointed, because this is not what meditation does. Meditation is practice. It's practice at the things that are challenging and difficult, and hopefully give us the resolve to go and do those things that are unpleasant when they need to get done. Thanks, Cece, for your donation. And thanks, Samia, for being here. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Great to see you all here today. Hope you're having a lovely day, a lovely evening. And everybody accomplished being here today, and that is something to be proud of. Thanks for being here. As we close out the month of May, we're going to do a couple loving kindness practices, and I guess I should tell you that I'm going on my summer holiday. I'm going to go back to the United States to visit family, and so I'll be out most of the month of June. So I thought I'd at least let you know at this point. So, looking forward to wrapping things up with some loving kindness. And speaking of loving kindness, let us send our well wishes out to one another and to ourselves. And by the way, that this does help as well with procrastination. It's like part of perfectionism is just wanting to, having a harsh voice to ourselves. So, bit by bit, can we chip away at these this harsh voice that sometimes we give ourselves. So follow along with me if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening right now, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all of us, all human beings here on earth, may we all be happy and peaceful. Thanks, everybody. All right, 47 hours and 30 minutes. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.